You're listening to Procurement 6, the weekly podcast from the team at Art of Procurement that summarizes this week in procurement in just 6 short segments.
Hi there, my name's Helen Mackenzie and today is Friday, March the 21st, 2025.
6.
Last week, I caught up with a few senior procurement leaders I used to work with. We got talking about the challenges we've faced and it really hit me. Procurement isn't an easy ride. Sometimes stakeholders won't listen. Sometimes we don't have the data or the insights we need to add real value. But here's the thing, we can't give up. Procurement has to prevail. James Clear in Atomic Habits says every action you take is a vote for the identity you want. So every time we push forward, find another way in, we're proving that procurement is a strategic force, not just a cost centre. So how do we reframe resistance? If a stakeholder won't listen, change the language. Align with their priorities. Instead of procurement says, speak in terms of risk, cost avoidance or revenue impact, whatever resonates with their world. And when we don't have the data, take a page from Angela Duckworth's book, Grit. Her research shows that sustained effort beats raw talent every time. Keep searching. Look at adjacent industries, suppliers, market trends. If the perfect data set doesn't exist, build the best possible picture with what you have and turn insights into action. Perseverance in procurement is about finding a way forward, not waiting for perfect conditions. It's about prevailing. Because when we push through, we don't just get a voice in the conversations that matter, we make sure procurement is heard.
5.
The role of the Chief Procurement Officer is changing fast. It's a new day for the CPO. CPOs aren't judged by the same old metrics. Expectations, priorities and skills have shifted, and procurement's role has transformed with them. As procurement's role in the business has transformed, so too has the office of CPO. In this week's Art of Procurement podcast, Philip Eidson spoke with Darshan Deshmukh, President of Procurability. Darshan has many years of experience working with procurement leaders across multiple industries, and in this short clip he explains just how much the CPO role has changed over the last 10 years. Let's take a listen.
The role for CPOs definitely changed significantly in the last decade or so. I started my career in industry where I worked for a few CPOs, and then last 15 years or so in the consulting service delivery space where I got a chance to work with a lot of CPOs as well. And also meeting with a lot of them during conferences and a few other setups. I realized like the type of tasks that the individuals do versus the responsibilities that they carry changed significantly, and the expectations changed significantly as well. If I look back like 20 years ago, the CPOs used to be like this key role that contributed to the bottom line, managed risk, drove compliance, build, like if they are strategic, they are building those risk mitigation strategies ahead of time. Like those used to be the expectations.
Yeah.
Right? Over the period of time, especially in the last decade, I would say, the role has become a lot more value generation or revenue enablement role as compared to like a cost savings role.
If you're a CPO or aiming to become one, there's no doubt these are fascinating times to be in procurement.
4.
Let's talk about data quality because, let's be honest, it's one of procurement's biggest headaches. I recently had a very interesting conversation about data quality with Raza Raofi, founder of Mithra AI. Now, we all know that struggles with data quality and using data to create effective category strategies can be a real challenge for some procurement teams. That's why Raza and his team created Mithra AI to solve procurement's persistent problem with poor data quality. Mithra AI is tackling what's often a dirty word in procurement, data cleaning. Now, as Raza put it in our AOP Introducing podcast episode, cleaning data has become taboo. It was a tedious activity that usually cost a lot of money, and the end result was never good enough. Now, Mithra AI's approach to solving this is to focus on procurement taxonomy. Instead of boxing data into rigid structures, Mithra AI pulls in both structured and unstructured data, enriches it and gives procurement real visibility.
This is Procurement 6 from Art of Procurement, To get notified every time an episode is published, go to artofprocurement.com/subscribe. 3.
Ever heard of Whoop? No, not the sound when you make when you're excited, though this could change the way you set goals. Some of you may have heard me mention this before on Procurement 6, but if you haven't, it's a goal-setting framework developed by Gabrielle Oettingen. Whoop stands for Wish, Outcome, Obstacle, and Plan, a simple yet powerful approach for setting and achieving goals. It's a great framework to use in your personal or professional life, but it can also be used for procurement operating models as well. I've used it with my own procurement teams, and I've seen firsthand the impact that this approach can have. The basic idea is that achieving your goals is easier when you first clearly identify what you want to accomplish and what your ideal outcomes are. Next, you have to be honest and realistic about obstacles that you're likely to encounter. And then, last, you make a plan that directly addresses how to overcome these obstacles. Unlike traditional goal setting, Whoop makes you and the team tackle obstacles before they trip you up. Whoop can be used for things like category strategy, implementation, orchestration, change management, or even team development. And I really like it because it's simple, practical, but also surprisingly effective.
2.
Procurement and supply chain organisations are always looking for better ways to attract and retain top talent. That's why programmes like North Kentucky University's Supply Chain Bootcamp are a big deal. They're shaping the next generation of supply chain professionals. The week-long bootcamp gives local high school students in Kentucky hands-on exposure to supply chain management, where they learn on-site at an e-commerce fulfillment facility. They're learning things about planning, scheduling, sourcing materials, production and distribution, and operational processes. They even study risk mitigation and data analytics during their tour. Sounds fab, doesn't it? This kind of real-world training and exposure to supply chain is such a great model for professional training and apprenticeships. And the numbers back that up. The university reports that nearly every single one of their graduates from their supply chain management degree programme received job offers on graduation. Imagine if procurement had programmes like this, giving young talent real exposure early on. We need more of this in this profession, don't you agree?
1.
Mergers and acquisitions. They're prime time for procurement to make an impact. It's a golden opportunity for procurement because they have the kind of visibility across the organisation and deep spend expertise that can make or break a merger or acquisition. And when it comes to indirect spend, procurement has an edge, spotting risks and hidden value that others might miss. They can also see across departmental silos or understand the financial implications of supplier relationships in ways that other functions in the business simply can't. In short, a merger or acquisition is procurement's time to shine, to expand an organisation's market reach and streamline operations, but only if they execute their influence in just the right way at just the right time. If M&A is on your radar, don't miss this. On April 10th, we're sitting down with Sydney Ray from Whitecap. She led 15 acquisitions in 2024 alone, and we'll be breaking down procurement's M&A playbook.
Thanks for listening. We'll be back next Friday at 6 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time. If you've enjoyed this pod, help us grow and tell your peers to search for Procurement 6 wherever they get their podcasts.